All right. So you want to dive into Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Buckle up because this one's a wild ride.
It is.
It's basically a playbook, right, for how to navigate power dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
but like disguised as this fascinating history adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking emperors, seductresses,
all of it.
you name it.
Yeah.
Greene does not hold back.
No.
So no need to sift through hundreds of pages for this one.
Right.
Our deep dive today is all about extracting those potent aha insights.
Yes.
The kind that you can actually use, right?
Absolutely.
Think of it like getting the cheat codes to a video game, but
for real life.
for real life.
For real life, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Tower plays, right?
Greene gives us these incredible tools for understanding the often unspoken rules
Right.
that govern so much of our lives, from the workplace to personal relationships, everything really.
Totally. Okay, let's jump right in then.
Okay.
With Law 1. Never outshine the master.
Big one.
Now this one, I gotta say, seems a little counterintuitive, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Are we
On
on
the
the surface supposed to be ambitious?
Yeah.
Like strive to stand out?
Yeah.
So what's Greene getting at here?
Well, ambition's important, sure.
Yeah.
But Greene cautions us against unchecked ambition,
Okay.
especially when it comes at the expense of our superiors or those in positions of power.
Okay.
You know, the psychology behind it's fascinating.
Yeah.
When someone perceives a threat to their status, even if it's unintentional,
Right.
it can trigger some pretty irrational behavior. Yeah, you don't want to see that side of people.
No, not at all.
And Greene tells this crazy story about Nicolas Fouquet, right? Louis XIV's finance minister,
Oh, yeah.
to illustrate this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fouquet, eager to impress the king.
Yeah.
Through this lavish party. I mean, think
Why?
gardens illuminated like
Yeah.
daytime.
Oh, wow.
Fireworks.
Wow.
The works.
He spared no expense.
He spared no expense. He thought he was showcasing his loyalty
Okay.
and good taste,
Well,
but
he accidentally stole the show
yes,
from the Sun King himself.
the Sun King. Yeah.
And we all know how much Louis XIV loved being the center of attention.
He was not one to share the spotlight.
Not really into sharing.
Not at all.
What happened?
Well, Louis saw this grand display as a direct challenge to his own authority
Oh, okay.
and magnificence.
Ouch.
Needless to say,
Ah.
Fouquet's career in French government took a bit of a nosedive after that.
Yeah, I bet it did.
A metaphorical nosedive.
So that's a history lesson I won't soon forget.
Right.
So how do we translate this then to the 21st century?
Okay.
Are we saying like just lay low at work,
Right.
even if you're a rock star?
You don't have to hide your talents,
Okay.
but it's about being strategic.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You can shine brightly without casting a shadow on those above you.
Okay.
It's a delicate dance,
Okay.
but by being mindful of the potential insecurities
Right.
of your superiors,
Yeah.
you can navigate this dynamic much more effectively.
Got it. Don't make the boss feel threatened.
That's a good
Yeah.
rule of thumb.
Noted. All right. This next law, I think we can all relate to.
Right.
Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't love
Who doesn't love...
a little efficiency hack?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like to get things done right?
But this is where
This is where...
things get it gets a little ethically tricky.
Right.
This is where Greene, I think, is really walking a fine line.
Yeah.
Here, he's highlighting the difference between effective delegation
Okay.
and manipulative credit stealing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this taking credit thing
Yeah.
sounds...
It can be.
Okay.
It can backfire. Are there any historical figures
Oh, yeah.
who really mess this up?
Absolutely. Michael III, the Byzantine emperor.
Okay.
He's a perfect example. He was actually a shrewd leader
Okay.
in his own right.
Okay.
But he owed his rise to power,
Yeah.
in part to his really skillful delegation,
Okay.
and particularly to his trusted friend, Basilius.
Okay.
He recognized Basilius's talents
Yeah.
and entrusted him with these increasingly important roles.
Let me guess that whole taking credit thing.
Well, it's
Ours
interesting.
didn't end well for Michael III.
Well, so eventually he placed Basilius in command of the army,
Okay.
and
Which ultimately.
which ultimately backfired,
Yeah.
as history tragically reveals. So while delegation can be this incredibly effective tool,
Right.
it's crucial to strike a balance.
Okay.
and ensure that everyone involved
Yeah.
feels valued and recognized
For their contributions.
for their contribution. Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to bring people along for the ride.
You don't want to alienate everybody.
Right. So the takeaway here is be mindful of how we're leveraging the skills of others.
Yes.
We want to be strategic,
Right.
but not at the expense
Of your relationships and your
on the throne.
your literal or metaphorical throne.
All right. What about Law 13? Appeal to self-interest.
Okay.
This one seems pretty straightforward, right?
It seems that way, right?
Like we're all motivated by what's in it for us.
It's a fundamental
Right.
aspect of human nature
Right.
that I think often gets overlooked.
Okay.
Greene reminds us that appealing to someone's ego, their desires, their need for gain, will be far more effective than relying on abstract principles or moral arguments.
It's like that old saying,
right.
You get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Exactly. Right. It taps into our innate desire for reciprocity.
Okay.
If you can effectively frame a request in a way that highlights mutual benefit, your chances of success increase dramatically.
Okay. So instead of just saying like, hey, can you do this for me? We should be thinking, how can I make this mutually beneficial?
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So everyone wins.
And Greene uses this fascinating example
from
the art world to kind of illustrate this. It involves the art dealer, Joseph Duveen, and the industrialist, Henry Ford.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this.
Yeah.
Duveen and Ford situation.
Duveen's this master salesman.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And he understood the power of appealing to self-interest.
Okay.
He knew that a direct approach to selling Ford expensive paintings would be futile. Ford was notoriously frugal.
Okay.
So Duveen took a different approach.
Okay. I'm starting to see the wheels turning in this whole art dealing scheme. So what did this Duveen guy do?
He gifted Ford this set of lavish art books, right, filled with these gorgeous reproductions of masterpieces. And that these weren't just your average, coffee table books. These were rare, exquisitely crafted. And they showcased the very artists that Duveen hoped to sell to Ford.
So he's surrounding this famously frugal guy with images of priceless art.
Exactly.
Clever.
It's very clever, right?
Yeah.
Because by presenting this gift, he's cleverly planting a seed.
Yeah, what happened?
Ford, surrounded by these masterpieces in print, starts to imagine owning the real deal. It was a brilliant strategy that played on Ford's desire for status and refinement.
Yeah.
And guess what?
What?
It worked like a charm.
It worked.
Ford became one of Duveen's most devoted clients.
Wow, talk about playing the long game. It's amazing how subtle yet powerful these strategies can be.
Absolutely.
So how can we apply this law of self-interest in our own lives?
Well, think about it this way. Every time you need to persuade someone, right? Whether it's asking for a raise, negotiating a deal, or even convincing a friend to try a new restaurant, you're appealing to their self-interest.
Okay.
The key is to frame your request in a way that highlights how it benefits them.
Right.
Instead of focusing on your needs, you highlight what they stand to gain.
That's a game changer. Okay.
Yeah.
Shifting gears to a law that feels incredibly relevant in our modern world.
Okay.
Law 37. Create compelling spectacles.
Yes.
We are bombarded with imagery and events designed to just capture our attention.
Yes.
Think about elaborate product launches, viral marketing campaigns.
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere.
The spectacle is everywhere.
You're absolutely right. And Greene, drawing from millennia of examples, shows that this isn't new.
Right.
Humans are inherently drawn to sensory stimulation.
Okay.
Spectacle has this unique ability to kind of bypass our critical thinking.
Yeah.
It taps into our emotions and desires.
And who better to illustrate this than Cleopatra, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Her grand entrance into Rome is the stuff of legends.
It's iconic.
Right.
Cleopatra understood the power of presentation.
Okay.
She didn't just arrive in Rome.
Right.
She orchestrated this elaborate spectacle.
I mean, set the stage for us.
Yeah, imagine this. She sails up the Tiber River on a golden barge.
Wow.
Adorned as the goddess Aphrodite herself.
Oh, my God.
Surrounded by beautiful attendants, exotic scents, enchanting music. It was a calculated display of grandeur
Right.
designed to captivate and disarm.
Talk about making an entrance.
Right.
It's no wonder she's gone down in history as a legendary figure.
Exactly.
But there's a flip side to this whole spectacle thing, right?
Of course.
Okay.
While spectacle can be incredibly effective,
Yeah.
it's crucial to be discerning.
Okay.
Don't be blinded by the surface flash.
Right.
Always look for the substance beneath.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what's the motivation behind this display?
Okay.
What are they trying to convey?
Right.
And what might they be trying to conceal?
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
Because we can easily get caught up in, the excitement,
The hype,
the sheer wow
the
factor.
glitz and the glamour.
Right.
But it's essential to keep our critical thinking hats on.
Exactly. Okay. On to another law that piques my interest. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. This one sounds a bit sneaky.
A little bit sneaky.
Yeah.
This law is all about strategic patience and calculated provocation.
Okay.
Imagine a skilled angler, right?
Okay.
Patiently waiting for the right moment to strike.
Okay.
It's not about brute force,
Yeah.
but about understanding the situation and using your opponent's energy against them.
So it's about staying calm under pressure, observing,
Yes.
and then making your move when the time is right.
Precisely.
Okay.
Greene emphasizes the importance of maintaining your composure while strategically provoking your opponent.
Okay.
By staying calm, you can often use their anger, their impatience to your advantage.
Interesting.
Think of it as turning their weaknesses into your strengths.
Okay, I love how Greene uses the rivalry between Harry Houdini
Oh, yeah?
and his rival Clopini
Classic.
to illustrate this. I mean, talk about high-stakes spectacle.
Oh, yeah, because Houdini, the master magician,
Yeah,
was constantly challenged by these imitators trying to steal his thunder.
of course.
Clopini, in particular, was a thorn in his side,
Really?
spreading rumors about Houdini's methods, claiming they were all tricks, not real skill.
So what did Houdini do? I bet he didn't just let Clopini get away with that.
Well, Houdini, being the strategic mastermind that he was, didn't engage in a public feud.
Okay.
Instead, he challenged Clopini to a handcuff escape duel.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting.
I bet there was some strategic maneuvering happening behind the scenes.
A little bit of subterfuge.
Yeah.
So Houdini, through a spy, learned that Clopini had figured out the secret to opening a particular pair of handcuffs.
Oh, no.
So what does Houdini do?
What?
He deliberately chooses those very handcuffs for the duel.
Oh, my gosh.
He let Clopini believe he had gained an advantage.
That's brilliant.
Right.
So Clopini, full of himself, thinking he has this surefire win, walks right into Houdini's trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so Houdini, maintaining his cool throughout this entire duel, easily escapes from the handcuffs, humiliating Clopini and solidifying his own legendary status.
Wow.
It's a classic example of strategic provocation.
What a story. Okay, so how can we apply this stirring the waters concept in our own lives?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not planning on any magic duels anytime soon.
Right. Well, it's about understanding that in any conflict,
Okay.
whether it's a business negotiation, a disagreement with a colleague, or even a tense conversation with a family member,
Sure.
staying calm and observing your opponent's emotional state
Yeah.
can give you a huge advantage.
So don't react impulsively.
Exactly.
Observe, analyze, and then make your move when the time is right.
There you go.
Got it.
And remember, the goal isn't to crush your opponent,
Okay.
but to steer the situation to a more favorable outcome for you.
That's such a valuable lesson. Okay. On to a law that emphasizes adaptability.
Okay.
Law 48. Assume formlessness.
Interesting.
This one sounds almost Zen-like.
It's about embracing change
Okay.
and adapting to new circumstances.
Okay.
Greene uses the metaphor of water adapting to its container.
Okay.
Water is fluid adaptable. It
Mhm.
doesn't resist change. It flows with it.
That's a powerful image. So are you saying we should all just go with the flow? Be passive, let life happen to us?
Not quite.
Okay.
It's not about being passive,
Okay.
but about recognizing that clinging to rigid structures, beliefs, or plans can make us incredibly vulnerable
Right.
when circumstances change.
Yeah.
Those who can't adapt get left behind.
It's like that saying the only constant is change.
Exactly.
Right.
Greene uses the example of the Spartans to illustrate this.
Okay, the Spartans.
They were legendary warriors, right?
Yeah.
Known for their discipline and military prowess.
Right.
But their rigid social system ultimately led to their downfall.
So despite their strength and military power, their inability to adapt sealed their fate. It's fascinating how often this happens throughout history.
It's a recurring theme, isn't it?
It is.
And it's not just empires or civilizations that fall prey to rigidity.
Right.
It can happen to individuals, businesses,
Yeah.
even entire industries.
Wow.
The key takeaway here is to cultivate mental flexibility.
Okay.
Be open to new information.
Yeah.
Be willing to adjust your sails when necessary. And don't be afraid to challenge your own assumptions.
So how can we apply this formlessness to our lives?
Right.
I mean, how do we become more adaptable in a practical sense?
It starts with self-awareness.
So to become more adaptable, it starts with looking inward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, where in my life am I clinging to something familiar, even if it's no longer serving me? Is it a belief, a habit, a relationship?
Interesting.
By identifying these areas, you can start to loosen your grip and become more open to new possibilities. Remember, true strength lies in flexibility, in our ability to adapt and evolve.
Okay, that's a powerful concept to consider as we wrap up this deep dive into 48 Laws of Power. I have to say, we've unearthed some serious strategic wisdom. We've explored the dangers of outshining the masters, the art of strategic delegation, and the subtle power of appealing to self-interest.
We've also seen how spectacle can be used to influence, for better or for worse, and how mastering our emotions while strategically navigating conflict can give us a decisive advantage.
And of course, we've learned the importance of adaptability, of embracing change and being like water flowing around obstacles rather than crashing into them.
You've really absorbed the key principles here, but as we've discussed, understanding these laws is just the beginning. The real challenge, and this is Greene's ultimate point, is knowing when and how to apply them effectively and, crucially, ethically.
So it's about using these laws for good, not just for personal gain.
Exactly. It's about understanding the responsibility that comes with knowledge and using it to navigate the complexities of power dynamics with both wisdom and integrity.
That's a great point to end on to our listener. Now that you're armed with these insights from 48 Laws of Power, think about your own field, your own industry. What subtle forms of power are at play that most people miss? What can you do differently now that you're more aware of these dynamics?